Hello everybody, it's Beetle Dave from Derbyshire in the UK. Thank you for joining me in my latest video venture. Today I'm going to be looking at one of my favourite albums of all time. Years and years ago I used to have it on with the compact cassette. They're like the little cassettes that used to be able to get. I had it on that and absolutely wore it out. So I've been looking for this album on vinyl for a number of years. It's a very, very hard album to find if you want an original, because it is like a forgotten gem. And when it was released, it was actually classed as a flop. And the band that recorded it nearly actually broke up. But thankfully they didn't. They did carry on for a few more years. So the album that we're going to be looking for or at today is the Kinks are Village Green Preservation Society. Now this was actually released on November the 22nd, 1968. So it was released on the same day as the Beatles' double White Album. Also around that time you'd got things like Beggar's Banquet, hadn't you, by the Rolling Stones and things like that. So at the time, because this is what sort of like a concept album, I think it was sort of a little bit out of pace with what other bands were doing at the time. Although obviously the Who did go on to do a concept album, and other bands went on to do concept albums, didn't they? But I think just at the time this didn't sell, which is a shame, because it is actually, I'd say this is the best album the Kinks ever recorded, closely followed by Something Else by the Kinks. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You've got 15 tracks on this. Now there's slightly different versions of this around the world. Some have got 15 tracks, some have got 13 tracks, and some have got 16 tracks, because I think in America, some countries like that, they actually added days onto this LP, because at the time when this was released, it didn't have any singles released off it. It is gatefold. That's the spine. That is the track listing. So as you can see, it is a really, really nice album. It's in really, really nice condition. Now, unfortunately, this isn't an original UK copy. It is a UK copy, but it's a reissue from 2018, and it was released by BMG stroke Sanctuary Records. So it's stereo, and it's BMG AA09 LP. That's the number for this reissue. Now the interesting thing is, if you like the Kinks like me, and you know the song "We Are the Village Green Preservation Society," I've often wondered where all them like names and everything, how we got them all to rhyme. Well, it's actually printed on here. So if I put that there like that, I'm going to hold it for a few seconds. So if you wanted to freeze frame it, that is actual lyrics to the song, and that is the track listing. So the track listing is the Village Green Preservation Society, Do You Remember Walter, Pickbook, Johnny Thunders, Last of the Steam Powered Trains, Big Sky, Sitting by the Riverside, Side 2, Animal Farm, Village Green, Starstruck, Phenomenal Cat, All of My Friends Were There, Wicked Annabelle, Monica, and People Take Pictures of Each Other. It was, excuse me, it was produced by Ray Davies, and I think Ray Davies wrote all the songs as well. Like I say, it is a reissue. I don't know if the original came in a gatefold or not, because I've seen so many copies of this over the years. And I know an original UK pressing on the pink pie label is very, very expensive to get. I have nearly bought one a few times, but then when I've looked at it, and I'm thinking that won't even play. In fact, there was one on an internet selling site, not going to mention any names, the other day, and the photo and everything, The sleeve was battered up, it was written on, it was ripped. The record had got lots and lots of scratches on. You could actually see the scratches in the photos that it put. It was mono, that wasn't stereo, so it was a little bit more there. And that was on the auction, it wasn't buying out, and the starting price on that was £375. And it actually sold, believe it or not, it actually sold. I have seen reissues from the late 70s, early 80s on the PRT label, which is still part of Pi, wasn't it? It was like when Pi changed its name to make itself sound a bit more modern. And they was always in single sleeve, they weren't in gatefold sleeves. So like I say, lovely album. You did get a couple, you got a booklet or pamphlet with this, which obviously you didn't get in the original, did you? It was telling you some background information of the album and like the recording of it and things like that. So the original, when this was originally released on the 22nd of November 1968, it was originally on Pi, and the number was NSPL 18233. Like I say, this is a reissue from 2018. The sound quality, I think, is absolutely amazing on it. I have played it. I've only played it once. I did get it not last week, the week before, but obviously because I was confined to bed once with the flu, so I couldn't really play it last week. I played it, I think it was the beginning of this week, I can't remember. Like I say, sound quality and everything is brilliant. Very, very heavyweight record. Sounds absolutely amazing. And the interesting thing is, although it's on Sanctuary Records, they've actually tried to make it look like it is an original. Now, some people might say, yeah, but Dave, Beatle Dave, you don't like reissues. And in all honesty, 9 times out of 10, I don't. But I've had to buy some this year because some of the reissues are the only way that you can get some of these records. So this is side 1, and they put it on the blue Pi label, where I think if it was the mono one in 1968, I think it was still on the pink Pi label, but I'm not sure. Like I say, they've made it, tried to make it look as authentic as possible, haven't they? Like I say, really, really nice heavyweight record. Just say produced by Raymond Douglas Davis, which obviously is Ray Davis. And everything, all the songs are published by Carlin Music Corp. So yeah, very, very nice. Very, very nice LP. Lovely sound quality. Like I say, I've been after this LP for a while. Couple of occasions I have nearly bought an original, but then they go for like stupid money, or they are, excuse me, actually played to death, So I saw this, and I think it was up for £25. It was bid, so I just bid £25, and I was the only one that got it, that put a bid in for it, because I thought it would actually go for more than that. And I think that was with postage and packaging, if I remember rightly. Now, it was classed as pre-owned, so I was thinking, well, it looks okay on the photos, but when I get it, it's probably going to have a few marks on it. As you can see, this is virtually mint. I would say it is mint. It's closest to brand new record I've seen in a long time. There's no marks, there's no spindle wear. So I think whoever's had it probably played it once, if at all. I've played it once, so it's probably had 2, maybe 3 plays at the most. Like I say, yes, technically it is a reissue. I know that, and some collectors will say, well, it's not worth anything then, is it? Because it's a reissue. But this is where I think I would beg to differ. Not everybody can afford £300 or £400 for battered in record. How much you want it or how much you love the band, not everybody's got that sort of money. Right? So if you can pick up a reissue, and that is a good reissue, into they've tried to make it look like the original label and everything, for a tenth of that price or 1/5 of that price, you're gonna get it, aren't you? in all honesty. Yes, I would still like the original UK version of this, but I won't pay stupid money for it. Since 2018, this has actually been re-released again. I think it was re-released either the end of last year or the beginning of this year, right? And from what I can make out, that is a non-gatefold sleeve. It is in a certain record shop in Derby at the minute, a big chain, you know. So there's only two record shops in Derby. One's our BPM, and it's not in there. Another one is a big chain that used to be a record company as well, a long time ago. And I went in there today because I had to go and have me booster jab thingy. And in there, that the reissue of the reissue, if you like, is £35. Now, looking at this, how wide the spine and everything is, I would say the one that's in this brand new record department store, or whatever you want to call it, where you can buy CDs and everything else, and you can buy vinyls. You can't buy records, but you can buy vinyls. But they'll still sell you a record turntable. Yeah, strange, isn't it? It was £35, right? And I don't think it's as thick as record as this. No, I don't think the actual record is as thick as this. But having said that, you know, it's that age-old question, isn't it? It's like this. I've wanted a copy of this for years and years and years and years, and every time I've got anywhere near it, I nearly bought one a few years ago, which was on, like I say, was on PRT, which so technically it was still on Pi. But that, like I say, that wasn't I'm sure that wasn't a gatefold. I'm sure it was just like an ordinary cover, a non-gatefold sleeve, if you want to get technical. And even that was scratched. And I mean, I'm going back probably 10 years ago, and I'm sure that was like 40 or 50 quid. So I've basically got a brand new record, haven't I, for for less than what it is to get another reissue. Yes, I would, like I say, I would like the original. Whether I'll ever get one or not, I don't know. So that one, this one here, I don't think you can get this anymore, because, like I say, it's been reissued again. So this probably will go up in price. The PRT ones will probably go up in price, and obviously the original Pi one, if you can find one, because I seem to remember a lot of them were destroyed because it was classed as a flop. When it came out, it was classed as a flop. About a year and a half ago, there was a program on Sky Arts, and I think it was called Echoes of the Kinks or Echoes of the Village Green, something like that. But that was just all about this LP. So you've got interviews with Ray Davis, you've got interviews with Dave Davis, and people that was involved in the recording and everything. And on it, it's like, it's like saying, at the time, he thought it was going to be the greatest LP that they ever made, the Kinks. And I would tend to agree with him. This is the best LP they ever made. Yes, they went on to record other albums after this. But if you take it in hindsight, it is a story. And I think this is why it might not have worked at the time. It's like a story of a bloke who lives in a village, a very, very small village. And in some ways, is like he loves living in the village green and all the old ways. And then in other ways, is looking for the future and things, that aren't to do with the village. Like I say, the Beatles had done concept albums and everything before that, hadn't they? And then obviously the Who went to do did Tommy after this, didn't they? I think at the time this was just wasn't what people were expecting, and because it didn't have any singles off it as well in the UK, I don't think that actually helped it. But as time's gone on, it sort of like became a bit of a mythical LP or a legendary LP. It is getting the recognition now that it deserves. A shame it took like 50 odd years, but I'm sure Ray Davis isn't really that bothered now, is he? Will the Kinks ever get back together? Don't know. some ways I'd like to see them back together, and other ways I wouldn't. I was never lucky enough to see the Kinks. The nearest I got was going to see a band called the Cast-Off Kinks, which had a bass player that had been in the Kinks. It had the original drummer like the Kinks, and had a keyboard player who played on Lola and a lot of the latest like songs. And it had a singer actually looked like Steve Marriott, and actually even sounded like Steve Marriott, you know, from the Small Faces. But in this thing we watched, well, we actually recorded it off Sky Arts. So if you get Sky Arts and you've got the catch-up thing on it, you might still be able to get it. I think it was like from about a year and a half ago. We did watch it at the time and watched it the other week. So it's like got footage of them before they recorded this. It's got footage of them while they're recording it. Then it's got footage of them from the 70s, even up to like the early 80s, and then it's got like footage of them now or when this like film was recorded. And even in the 80s, like Ray Davies and Dave Davies still look, you know, pretty young and fit, you know, as in being healthy. But then when it goes to like the time that they are actually recording it, this like documentary, you see Ray Davies and Dave Davies, and they're like, they've aged a lot. Let's put like that's no disrespect to them. I've actually seen Ray Davies live years ago as well. So would they want the hassle of putting the Kinks back together again? Probably not at all, you know. I think if they did it as, you know, just to see if they could like record together and things like that, because you know they've always had a love-hate relationship, haven't they, Dave Davies and May Davies? But from what I read in the media and see on YouTube and things like that, I think they are getting on more now than what they have in, you know, the last probably 10, 15 years. So I wouldn't put some sort of Kinks reunion out of the question. I don't think they'd ever tour again, to be honest. Like I say, I think if they ever did anything, I think it'd be on record or maybe a TV special or something like that. Because obviously the original bass player's not with us anymore, is a Pete Quiff. But Mick Avery's still alive, isn't he? So, you know, I think if they are going to do it, they'll have to do it sooner rather than later. But whether they do, you know, that's for them to decide, isn't it? So yeah, if you ever find a copy of this, whichever issue it is, you know, if you've got money, buy it. You'll be very, very surprised by it. Like I say, I think it is the best Kinks album that they ever recorded, followed by something else. I mean, the Kinks have always been in my life. In fact, I knew about the Kinks before I even knew about the Beatles in a lot of ways. Because my dad used to like the Kinks. He used to like You Really Got Me and All the Day and All of the Night. And when he'd had a few beers, he used to try and sing them and things like that. I think he did have them on a record. I think it was a couple of singles he had. I think I could be wrong on that one. He used to like Gene Vincent and all sorts, my dad. So yeah, so like I say, you know, I was aware of the Kinks before I was aware of the Beatles in one way. And I did have it. I did have this LP cassette years and years ago, and I played it to death. So yeah, like I say, I paid. I think it was £25. You can get it now from that record chain that I was on about earlier on. I'm not going to mention the name. They don't ever do any favours for me, so I'm not going to do any favours for them. But it is about £35 in there at the minute. So it's still, you know, if that's the only way you can get it, go out and get it. You know, I think you still can get it on CD as well. Like I say, the one that's in that record chain at the minute isn't this one. It's a reissue of this reissue, if that makes sense. But this is a reissue of the PRT one, which was a reissue of the original Power one, wasn't it? So, but yeah, you know, it's an age old question, isn't it? It's like, you know, I've been after a copy of this for years and years, honestly, 20 odd years probably. And it's like, do I go out and pay £200 or £300 for a copy that might not play, or it's an original, but it's going to be covered in scratches and things like that, or do I go out and buy a reissue of it? As you know, usually as a collector, I would say I'd always try and get the original. But in this case, I don't think it really matters that much, because if you can find an original, and I mean if you can find an original that's anywhere in decent condition, you will be paying a lot of money for it. So if you say a minimum of 250 quid, are you going to pay 250 quid for one that's in an okayish condition, or 25 or 35 pound for one that you know is going to play? And if it's on heavyweight, 180 gram, it's going to last you for a while, isn't it? On this occasion, I'd say I would buy this first. Honestly, I would buy this. If I will always be on the lookout for an original. If I see one for a decent price, then I will buy it. But that's the thing with record collecting, isn't it? Some people will only ever buy original LPs. 90% of mine, probably even 95% of my collection is original LPs. But sometimes you have to get a reissue because it is the only way that you can get that record. It's like the Beatles Get Back box set that was released a few months ago. That was the only way I could get a legitimate copy of Get Back. The Get Back LP. The David Bowie box set that we featured yesterday, was it? There's things in there that you can only get in that box set because there was never released on vinyl at the time. And a lot of them, from what I've read after doing that video, aren't going to be released separately from that box set. So, yes, that was a lot of money, but on that occasion, that was probably the cheapest way of getting it, and the only way of getting it if I wanted it on record. Because yes, some of them LPs are going to be released separately, but you won't get all the extra tracks on it and things like that, and you might not get like some little booklets and stuff. They aren't going to be in it. But I don't think there's going to be that many that's going to be released from it anyway. And like this, however you choose to, if you're interested in this record by the Kinks, which I hope you are, if you're thinking again and you're thinking that Beatle Dave is a record collector, but he's bought the reissue, why didn't he buy the original? It's like I said, I can't afford the original. I'll be honest with you, I can't afford the original. At the minute, I cannot afford the original. But it's something I've wanted. I saw it and I got it at a price that I could afford. Right? So that's what I'm saying to you. If you ever see something, you don't always have to buy the original. You'll buy what you can afford at that time. And then it's like, in later in your life, you might be able to be in the position to buy an original. But the thing is, if you've had something like this where everything is dead clear on it, and I mean, that is basically a brand new record, isn't it? Although it's like nearly 4 years old, that's probably in better nick than one I could go and buy today from that certain record shop or chain. But once you've heard that, it doesn't matter how much you want that original, and you probably will still buy that original. But I bet you any money, if you've got something like this and you go out and buy the original, and the original's not in excellent condition, because I'd say to you, if it's not in excellent condition, don't buy it. And if it is in excellent condition, you will be paying top money for it, and you'll be playing it, and you'll still be going click, click like that. It's one of them things. At the end of the day, it's up to you guys. You'll go out and buy whatever you buy. I'm not endorsed by anybody to say anything. I'm not paid by anybody to say anything. But on this occasion, I think buying this, for me personally, was better than going for the original. Like I say, if I do ever find the original and I've got the money to buy it, as long as it's not stupid money, I will still buy it. But it's what you've got at the time and how much you want it. I've been after that LP for years and years and years, so I'm happy that I've got it now. And that's it, isn't it? So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Anything I show you on here, if you're not 100% sure about it, you're thinking, well, I won't mind that album, all right? But you're thinking, well, Beatle Dave saying, it is quite expensive. Even the reissues can be like 20 or 30 pound. If you've got a streaming device, and I shouldn't really be telling you this because this goes against everything about collecting vinyl, but you might say, well, half of them songs I've never heard of, which is fair enough, isn't it? So if you go out and buy the record, you've got to buy the record to hear the songs, haven't you? So if you've got a streaming device and it's free, because some of them are still free, aren't they? Just put in the Kinks or the Kinks Village Preservation Society, Village Green Preservation Society, sorry, and just like look at a couple of tracks and just try them. And then if you like it, you'll know that if you see it and the price is right, to buy it, don't you? And if you think, well, it's not for me, then you haven't wasted your money, have you? You know, to me, as a Kinks fan, if I ever see another copy of this anywhere, and I mean anywhere, so whether it's on a selling site or if it's in a record fair or second-hand record shop, if the price is right and it's a different issue to this, I would still buy it. That's how strongly I would recommend this. Like I say, if you like the Kinks, you will love this. It's not probably not to everybody's cup of tea, fair enough. If you're not a Kinks fan, or you're only a casual Kinks fan, should I say, because you won't buy it if you weren't a Kinks fan, would you? It might take you 2 or 3 listens, and then you think, "Wow, yeah, that is absolutely an amazing album." Because it's like was a flop at the time. It is actually like listening to a brand new album by the Kinks. That's all I can say because I mean, apart from Animal Farm and Picture Book, because that was used on an advert, wasn't it? And maybe the Village Green Preservation Society. Probably a lot of these tracks have never been on any other sort of like Kinks albums or compilation albums. Hardly anything on here. Hardly anything on here ever gets played on the radio. So you know, it, just go out and get it. That's all I'll say. You know, if you're a Kinks fan, go out and get it. Don't take my word for it. You know, like I say, you can stream some of the songs probably. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure that you can, but I'm sure somewhere along the line you can. So that's going to be it for today. For everybody that is subscribing, thank you very much. You know, I do appreciate it. You know, I think I've been doing this properly for about 6 months now. You know, it is just a little bit of fun for me. I do enjoy it. It is just a old grumpy 50-year-old bloke, you know, Beatles fanatic record collector, sharing some of his thoughts and some of his records with you people out there. So, you know, I do try and make it entertaining. If you learn, you know, I do try to make it so that you can learn something for it. Like now, you know, there's like, for instance, on this LP, you know, there's an original. There's a reissue from the 70s. There's probably a reissue from the 80s on a different label. This is from the 2018s, and now there's another reissue of it. You can actually get this in a box set as well at the minute, and it is just a box set of this record. So I'm not 100% what's on it, but that is going for £135, and you can buy that brand new at the minute on internet auction sites and certain record stores. Yeah, I can't praise that record enough. Honestly, it's one of my favourite records of all time. Yes, if you're subscribing, thank you very much. If you're thinking of subscribing, please do. You know, that always makes it worthwhile to me. You know, every time I get somebody to subscribe, I think, yeah, you know, I must be doing something that people like. The views are going up, the likes are going up. If you want to comment, please comment. As long as it's something nice, don't put anything stupid or a link to dirty videos and stuff like that. Because if you do that, I just you know, delete it straight away. To be honest, that's not what this channel is about. This channel is about record collecting, especially the Beatles. 99% of the time, it is about the Beatles. We do other things now and again. Like today, we've done the Kinks. We did David Bowie yesterday. I did Jackie Lomax earlier today. I've done Billy Preston. I think that was yesterday or day before. You know, so it isn't always about the Beatles, but as the name suggests, Beatle Dave, Beatles. You know, that is basically what this channel is about, and record collecting in general. I will tell you, if I show you a record, or I'm reviewing a record, because in one way that was sort of like a review as well, wasn't it? I will tell you if I like it. I'll tell you if I don't really like it. I'll tell you if it's good. I'll tell you if it's, you know, rubbish. Don't bother buying it, sort of thing. That is one I would highly recommend. I would give it 10 out of 10. You know, so like I say, if you are new to the channel, Hello, welcome. Please look at some of my other videos that I've done over the past few months. Like I said, don't take myself too seriously. Uh, and that's going to be about it for today. I'm back at work tomorrow after being off with the flu. So if I've like coughed during this video, I will say sorry now. I'm not exactly 100%, but I'm 90%, and my arm's hurting a bit today as well because I had the dreaded booster earlier on. So yeah, that's going to be it. As always, thank you very much. Like and subscribe. You know, that's all I'll say. Just like and subscribe, please. And I'll see you on another video, which probably won't be till probably Sunday. Maybe there might not be one next weekend. I don't know because I've got to go because I'm back at work now and I work 12-hour shifts. So I've got next Sunday off, and then obviously the Sunday after that it's Christmas, isn't it? So, and I've still got to go and deliver presents to people. So I'm running out of time. But I'm sure me and my missus will sort it out some way. So if I don't do one next weekend, I will apologise now, but I will try my hardest to do one. That's all I'll say on that one. So until the next video, once again, thank you very much for joining me. And remember, Beatle Dave, everything to do with the Beatles and record collecting in general. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll say cheerio. And whatever you do, folks, just stay safe. If you're out and about, wear your face mask. We don't want, a lockdown just before Christmas, do we, in the UK? So stay safe, love one another, and look after one another.